Okay, so if we're considering whether or not abortion makes women more or less equal, I think it is helpful to see baby making as a cohesive unit that has gotten out of balance. We have the actual baby making activity, and then we have the consequence of the baby making activity, which is actually the baby making. And we have managed to separate those two things, the activity from the baby making. And I think that that has caused much more problems than it has solved. That tends to foster the assumption, if we separate the consequence from the actual activity, it tends to foster the assumption that women should always be available. If we can get around the consequence of the baby, if we can eliminate the baby as a consequence, then women should always be available to men. At that point, it puts a whole lot of pressure on women, and it causes them to act more or less and stay, I should say, in a defensive posture all the time. And that turns what's supposed to be a mutually beneficial relationship into a very adversarial one between men and women. And therefore, if we're going to fix that, what we have to do is to link those two individual parts, the actual baby-making activity and the baby, link them back together in our minds as the composite unit that I believe it was always intended to be. And when we do that, it helps restore the idea that there is something valuable and sacred and special about the whole reproductive process. And the idea that abortion should be easy and free and accessible, that actually sustains and reinforces the imbalance that makes life harder on women. So I can't come to the conclusion that it makes things better for women. As far as the equality question is concerned, does abortion make women equal to men? I think that's a non-starter. I think you can't get past the first few pages in the book of Genesis without coming to the conclusion, if you read it honestly and straightforwardly, that the value of men and women is no different. They each share in the image of God. They each share in the task to which God has called them in creating the world and making the world habitable for people. And so I think we have always said that's a constant. The fact that men and women are of equal value, of equal dignity, and of equal worth is actually a constant. And if we keep that in mind, then the abortion issue takes a secondary consideration.